Next week, starting on October 13th in Las Vegas, Nevada, we are launching our first annual global user conference called Connect. I know you've seen Connects regionally before, so why is this one so exciting? This is a 3.5-day experience with partners, over 100 educational tracks. We've got 3 days of keynotes talking about AI, the future of the internet, innovation on our products and platforms and solutions. We've got networking with your peers. This is truly a user conference to help grow your education and career profile and meet with our partners and subject matter experts here at Cloudflare.
And I hope the message of the show rings loud, where it's like, you can do stuff that you can't do. And that's really strange. That is a very strange time, that now I can do stuff that I couldn't do before. There's something there for you. There's something in this generative AI wave that you've been blocked on that now you can do, whether that's writing or voice or images or or seeing. If there's tons of use cases that are right there right now for you. And now you can literally build an application should you want to. The amount of times, Joe, I'm sure you get this too. You're in tech and you're like, I have this idea for an app. I'd like you to build it. You're like, oh, well, I don't have a couple months back in the day. But now it's like, let me sit you down in front of this box that says, what would you like to build? And you press build and it does. That's a different world. And we're here. And I'm so happy that we get to support it. I'm so happy to see those ideas out there.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Net. It's the October the 10th, 2025 edition. We're already in October and this is an edition to talk about some topics, but the main one is really Connect, Cloudflare Connect. And for that I have with me Leslie Hasvold. Hello Leslie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you.
Welcome to This Week in Net. For those who don't know, can you explain to us your job at Cloudflare?
Sure.
And where are you based?
I am based out of the San Francisco office, and I am the Senior Director of Global Strategic Events and Customer Advocacy. So my team runs the Connects globally, some of our trade shows globally, and we also manage customer advocacy, so references, case studies, things like that.
And you joined Cloudflare in January 2025, is that correct?
I did, so it's been about 9 months now.
For those who don't know, actually, we will have, starting next week on Monday in Las Vegas, our Connect event. And it will be the first of its kind. We had previous Connect events distributed in New York, London, Sydney, but this is special. What is this Connect specifically in Las Vegas next week?
Thank you. So those are, like you said, regional programs. They're one day. They generally pull from the greater metro area or maybe a couple of countries nearby if we're in Europe. But this one is Global Connect. So this is our first multi-day user conference where people come from all over the world. As of a couple of days ago, we had 62 countries represented that are going to join us in Las Vegas for 3.5 days of education, networking, partner integration, keynotes, innovation, all that really amazing stuff that you don't necessarily get when you're in one day in one city.
One of the things, I've been in Connect events, previous Connect events, and those usually are pretty local, around the region specifically, but it's quite amazing to see, and I've seen the speaker, the schedule, the areas, the new areas that we have. This is not only for Cloudflare customers, but also partners, and we have more and more partners these days, even Cloudflare people to explain the workers platform, the developers platform. There's so many areas that are there and people can collaborate and talk to each other there. That is quite amazing to see. Can you give us a run through of some of those areas that will be represented there at Connect?
Sure. So from an educational perspective, we have 4 different tracks. We have developers and AI, and I need to look up the other 3.
No worries, Jack. No worries.
I should have this memorized. Edit and post, edit and post. Okay. We have, starting over, we have developer and AI, we have application, networking and security, platform, and governance. So we have about 100 breakout sessions that are under these 4 different track umbrellas across 3 full days. And I think it's 8 or 9 breakout session rooms. So we have all of these breakout sessions happening concurrently under these specific tracks. So the interesting and kind of exciting thing about it is, if you're involved in networking and security, but you have interest in some of our developer education, you can absolutely do that. Go learn more about workers and developer and how we are using AI and how our customers are using AI. And later, if you want, we are recording these breakout sessions, so attendees will be able to come back and watch the sessions that they missed. This truly is an educational program across all of the platform elements that we have here at Cloudflare. And many of these courses are being taught by our customers. So the point there is that it is educational. We are not here to sell to you for 3 days. We want you to learn how to use these products and tools. We want you to grow your careers. We want you to be more successful in your workplaces. We also want you to have a little fun.
Because it's Las Vegas, of course. Why Las Vegas, actually? The
Las
fun part
Vegas-
is important?
Yeah, so Las Vegas is traditionally a very strong convention town. Logistically, it's very easy to get to globally. A lot of places in the United States have 1 flight to get there, and globally, it's only 2 flights to get there. The convention hotels are huge, right? So it's very easy for everybody to stay, learn, and play in the same venue. Plus, it's a world-class location. So, there are folks from, say, Lisbon that won't have an opportunity to get to Las Vegas, and this is a great way to get there.
I'll be there, so
I
I'll be
cannot wait
there.
to see you.
In a nutshell, again, our first event of its kind. For those that are interested, maybe this year even, if possible, or in the future years, what should they know? Where should they go?
So if they are interested in learning more about the event, go to events.cloudflare.com/connect/2025, and you'll be able to see all of the sessions, all of the speakers, all of the networking, all of our partners. We've got a lot of great partner sponsors that are helping to make this thing possible. Without them, we couldn't do it. So go there, learn everything, click on register. There are still definitely passes available. If you cannot make it out this year, I encourage you to still watch that space, still watch our socials, because we're going to be sharing with you everything that's happening throughout the week. And then you're going to absolutely want to be here next year. One other point I do want to make, we are going to be streaming the Tuesday morning Pacific time and the Wednesday morning Pacific time keynotes. So please try and make it out if you can. But if you can't, put those 2 things on your calendar, log in, and you'll be able to watch our 2 main general session plenary keynotes.
Do you have a keynote or even breakout session that you learn about and you're really curious about specifically? I know we have not only for developers, workers, but also post-quantum, have people from
Yes.
research. We have people from so many different areas of the company doing specific sessions. Is there one that stands out to you personally?
You're asking me to choose between my children. I'm not going to do that.
So give us a few then.
I will tell you that the Tuesday morning keynote, Matthew Prince is going to give us some great ideas on where the internet was, where we're taking it, where it's going. We're doing a lot of conversation about AI. I know AI is top of mind for everybody. How can we use it in our work lives and our personal lives? What are the ethics that are happening globally behind the use of AI? We know that here at Cloudflare, creators and AI is a very hot topic. So that's going to be something that we cover quite a bit in our keynotes. We just might have a few special guests that we haven't announced yet that are going to give us some really amazing insights on being creators in the digital age and the AI age. And then after Matthew, we've got some amazing customers that are going to be telling their stories, their technology stories, their Cloudflare stories, and hopefully our audience will be able to take some amazing inspiration from those stories. And then day 2, we're running through more customers and more technology and more innovation. Between AI, creators, technology, innovation, the future of the internet, you're not going to want to miss any of it.
I bet. I'll be there to see it. Thank you so much, Leslie. This was great. and let's have a great event.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me do this. I really appreciate the opportunity.
And that's a wrap.
AI.
AI is everywhere. 90% of people have heard of AI, but fewer than 20% feel confident using it.
Where can you go to fix that?
Right here. We'll talk to real people
Welcome to AI Avenue.
and fake people to explore the technology changing our world.
Smart enough to explain AI, dumb enough to make it fun.
An AI crash course that won't just tell you about these tools, it'll empower you to build them. We'll go all over the world and explore AI affecting voices, vision, action, and creativity. Whether you're building your first app or just trying to keep up, you can find it all on AI Avenue.
Hello, Craig. Welcome to This Week in Ed. How are you?
Great, Joe. Thanks for having me again on the show. I love one of my favorite shows.
Thank you. I know you only say that because, hey, here. Oh, well. Talking about shows, you have I would say more than a show. It's actually a docuseries called AI Avenue. That's the main reason we're talking today. In the previous episode, we did actually in-person episode in the London office about the Developer Week. It was in April at the time. Oh well, many months since then, many announcements and many new things arising. One of those, AI Avenue, your docuseries. But before going into that, next week it's Connect. And in this episode, we talk about Connect, but also AI Avenue. And you're going to be at Connect specifically, so why not take that out of the list already?
Yeah, for sure.
What are you doing at Connect next week?
So I'm hosting 2 workshops. We're doing a workshop on MCPs. So we're going to, model context protocols. So people will get their hands on being able to do that, like open laptops, get your hands on, touch those. And then we're also going to build some agents there. I have a special talk that I'm doing with my dry run co-host, Sunil Pai. We're going to be doing also some agent talks and some out there stuff, showing kind of what agents can do. And there's also a hackathon. There's a hackathon that I also get a chance to chat with Zach about, there's this whole new builders that are coming upon us, Joe. I know that you're aware of this, but they're saying that there's 10 times more builders coming, right? Because we've enabled, AI has enabled the fact that there's these builders that are coming and they're on their way. And what does that feel like? And I've been doing education for a long time and it's a really strange place to be. So I'm really excited to talk with Zach, who's dealing with this at the high school level because he's seeing that these kids are able to build in a new way. And I want to talk to him. We're going to have this open discussion about what has happened, like a panel sort of things. Lots of good content at Connect. If you haven't signed up yet, I think there's still time, Joe. You just talk.
I think there's still time, yes.
Okay, just swing by.
But to travel may be a little bit difficult. It will be in Las Vegas, but maybe. If you're based in the US, maybe it's easier.
Or in Vegas. Yeah, just swing by.
Or in Vegas even. Yeah, Nevada. Specifically on some of those topics that you'll be presenting, I'm curious on even you're now preparing for those. Is there like demos that you feel that, hey, these demos are really making a difference, are really making something out of this world that shows, for example, MCP servers or even agents, shows really the possibilities there? Is there something that has been surprising?
Yeah, I think that in order to believe the level of tech that we're at, you have to touch it. You have to do it yourself. And so I really, really there is nothing better than picking it up and doing it and touching it. And I'm really excited that I get to do that in a room of people who might have never touched it. So on the MCP side of things, just being able to talk in English and have it do something, right? We've gotten to the point where it used to just answer, but now it actually does stuff. One of the demos that we have, there's a light bulb, a literal light bulb, and you can change the color of the color of the light bulb with English, right? And the other thing that's neat is that we don't think about this too much, but you can I can read it a poem. I could open up my mic, read a poem, and say, I want you to change the room to the color of this poem. And it uses LLM superpowers, uses this MCP to call this tool, and then all of a sudden the room is that color. It's a really it's out there. It's the future of it's like Star Trek level stuff, and it's really cool to be able to do that and pretty quickly, right? And it's a really straightforward, and we have a really nice way of doing it. We have a really great templated system, so you can kind of press a button and do it. So I'm excited to kind of jump past all of the hoops and just touch it. Just go do this now. So that I'm really excited for that. So I think the answer to your question is yes, all of the demos are like super exciting to jump into.
I bet. We had an episode a few months ago with Kenton Varda, the creator of Workers, let's call it like that. One of the things that even he was surprised was exactly that. What people that don't know about code can actually build in plain English, just using English, imagining things there, which is really incredible to see for sure. Exactly. Well, the About AI Avenue, this is a really exciting show full of in-person conversations, not Zoom or Riverside or whatever conversations. Can you give us like a run-through of what is AI Avenue, how it came about?
Yeah, sure. So the concept here was, I'm a developer educator, and my boss came to me and said, hey, I want you to do like you normally do. But I said, awesome. And he's like, do it for AI. I'm like, that's great. I can't wait to sit down and do what I normally do and show everybody how AI works. So all these developers, what AI is. And he goes like, no, for everyone. I went, well, that's different, right? Because I can't tell everyone to sit down and go take a course. It doesn't work, right? Like AI is interesting, right? There's a lot of like bad press about it, right? Like, hey, this is gonna take your job, all that like scary stuff that people do. And it's like, how do we bring education to it? Because like we just talked about, it's important that people touch AI and like to believe it, to even believe anything's possible with it. So we were like, how do we do that? So we did research and we said, what would probably work is if we broke up a show into segments and we talk to real people about what they're afraid of. And then we take those fears and we take them to experts and we say, experts, here's the fears. Are they valid? And then we can share that information because we have access to that. I spent some time in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I was around this wild wave of everybody being so excited and like 6 meetups a night and the craziest tech that you've ever seen. And then I moved back to Portland, Oregon, and this is not a slam on Portland, Oregon at all, but it hasn't reached here. That same feeling isn't here. And I want to share that. I want to share what's possible because I think when you're afraid of a technology, right, or you're like, oh, I don't like that, you don't get to be a part of it. People feel like they're being pushed away from it instead of being a part of it. And I want people to be a part of it because we know what happens. We know what happens if it's not for everybody. And AI should be for everybody. And so that's what the show's about.
Makes perfect sense. And you touched there something that it's for those who communicate anything is quite important, is to make people understand. And if it's a wider audience, even better there. And we work at a American tech company that was created initially in San Francisco, the Bay Area, as many in the AI age were and are, but it's a more global world, and explaining for those that are in different places that are not in the Bay Area, that don't understand completely what is going on with what I usually say, the dumb questions with actual answers. And you have a lot of show and tell right there, which is quite amazing to see as well. People can see their questions, answer to their questions with something that it shows them how it works, right?
Yeah, and every single one of the episodes, we were really, really cautious to make sure that any of the tech that we showed in the episodes, that there was a way for you to touch it. So like everything has an app that's attached to it, and everything also has a tutorial. And of course, when you go to build the tutorial, it works on Cloudflare Workers because I want you to know how to do that, right? I want you to know about the developer platform as it's out there. So, and I slowly walk people through it because I know that people coming to it are builders. They're new builders that might not be developers, right? And so again, I'm in this audience space that's for everybody. So I've tried to write the tutorials that are here. If you've never touched it, if you've never touched code before, that you should start to be able to work through it. And as an educator, and I worked a lot in the space of teaching people how to code from scratch. So I know what it takes to go through there, or I knew what it took in the past, but now it's new. It's this like fresh thing. It's like, I don't know what it feels like anymore because I am able to read what the code says, but I don't know what it feels like to build something that come out and then not be able to read it, but it still works kind of. But like, how does it feel? Like, what does that feel like? So like writing tutorials in that space has been like such an adventure. I've really enjoyed it. I hope that people who are like going across these tutorials are finding that like, oh, I'm glad you took your time, because I would imagine it's hard, right? It's hard if you're like, oh, I made this thing. I built this, and then you go to try to read the docs or something, and it's above your head because you've moved a thing so far. You've moved this project so far along, and it's like some people still don't know this, Joe, that like you can talk in English and build a thing. I just built our next episode is dropping tomorrow. It's about robots. And the reason why it's about robots is, well, first of all, I have a robot hand on it. So this is Yorick here. He's a robot hand, and he's a character on the show. And we talk to people, and when we talk to people about AI, you say, what's the thing that you want to do the most? And they say, the dishes. It's interesting. So we do a whole episode about like, can robots do the dishes? Because we're at a place where these humanoid robots are coming too, and that's another thing. So we dive deep into that. But to this point, I coded a video game, zero code. I wanted to see what does it feel like, because I don't know how to make video. Do you know how to make video games? I don't know how to do it. So I went and did a video game all in English. I just wrote the whole thing in English. It's kind of crappy, but I love that I was able to do it, and I think people would like it. So I'm gonna test and see what people. But I built it. I didn't code at all. It's hosted on Workers, of course, because I know how to do that part, and it's up and running, and we'll launch that tomorrow. My first video game launch.
There are a few now that are only like in that method of not a person writing the code for that. Some became popular, not potentially like big businesses, but quite popular in the past few months, which is kind of interesting. There you have a very specific page, aiavenue.show, where some of the apps, some of the things are there, also the episodes, also all sorts of amazing things there, so people can browse and explore previous episodes, but also the apps that you built for that specifically. Can you give us like a run through, like what people should know? For example, episode 1 is voice episode, right? And second one is vision episode. What those are more about?
So we tried to, if you're making a show, you need to have a story arc. Maybe a tutorial doesn't need to have a story arc, but we made a story arc. And we walk through with Yorick. Yorick gets better and gets more human emotion. We augment Yorick, right? In the same way that AI is helping to augment things. And we found doing that by taking that approach that there's lots of things, and there's lots of AI that, I think a lot of people kind of gravitate towards the fact that it's just this chatbot thing here, but there's a lot more to it. It's multimodal now. So the first episode we talk about voice, and we go to, actually the reason that we saw each other in London was because I was recording that episode in London because we went to the London office of 11 Labs. So 11 Labs is this awesome generative voice company. It runs all of his Yorick's lines, like we generated all of his lines in a voice that we created with English. We created this voice. He's got this really fun voice. Maybe we can insert a clip here or something, but he's got a really
I'll put it.
So Yorick has a really, really fun voice that we generated in English on the show. And I sat down with Thor and we built this thing, and it has a live agent conversation. And you can I built an app that you can go to talk to the hand with dashes.aiavenue.show. And it's hosted on Cloudflare, and it's a widget, and you can actually talk to Yorick and hear his voice, and it interacts with you in the same way that a chatbot would. And I think, I've been in this space a little bit now. I think this is coming really fast. I think that this real-time talking back and forth to things are coming. We're building things on our platform to allow you to build that as well, and it's coming. And it's interesting when you get your brain around that, because it changes what you think about, right? It changes that's how I want to interact with the internet. I don't want to go to a web page and choose my flight and choose my time and I just want to say, hey, I'm going to San Francisco tomorrow. Help me. I want that. I want the dream that you're promised, and I want it. And it's here, and you could do it, right? And it knows all my information, and like that sort of like agentic thing, and I'm chatting with my agent or I'm texting with my agent. That sort of stuff is coming. And then we have vision, where we there's a lot of visions technology that's out. That's great. You can see license plates. You could have it judge your clothes, right? Like in that episode, I determined if my outfit is punk enough because I have scanned a punk poster, right? So I saw a concert poster and I scanned it. And I actually literally built this for myself because I wanted to have this. It's amazing. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I could read concert posters, because it's the optical character recognition is good enough now that even the crazy punk letters on a poster, and so we tested that. That's how the punk thing came into being. You could grab all of the things, you could grab all of the bands, and now I could use an agent and I can go out to Spotify and create a playlist of that poster. So now I can listen to the poster. And I built that for myself because there's so many bands that come through Portland to I'll give a better shout out to Portland. There's so many bands that come through here that I don't know about. So I want to take the picture and now I can go listen to what I like this. And then of course you can know, you use the new AI techniques and things to say, you've listened to this playlist that I created enough times. You really like this band. They're playing on Saturday. You took the picture of that. And I know that because that was on the poster of the band. So and that app exists. So that app exists. And if you want to go play with it, it's available on aiavenue.show.
Quite interesting, specifically. The third one is the thinking episode, right? Also an important part, of course, but you go deeper than the just typical thinking of LLM that we see.
Yeah, and I think that, we touch into that. I think a lot of back to the beginning of people might have a bad taste of AI in their mouth, especially if they're dealing with the chatbots. And so we stack the episodes so that by the time you get here, you kind of get the vibe of the show and you know that we're going to take you through the history of this isn't the first time that we felt like there was a thinking machine, So we show the history about how this has gotten into being, and then we show how LLMs actually work, because there's a lot of people who will first use it, and we've actually seen court cases and things like that where it hallucinates, right? It has information in there that's not real, and if you just trust it for what it is, sometimes you can run into problems. And so we have Yorick running an older model, and he's hallucinating a lot, and so we go and figure out what that means, and we go and upgrade him, and he's talking the whole time using his voice, and he's using vision through the thing. So he's slowly getting better, and we upgrade his thinking so that he's able to go and do that.
The upgrade there is quite interesting to see. Something like, hey, now you're smarter. Now you can do this. Now you can do that. Yeah. It reminds us of sci-fi movies, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it really is that way too. If you were watching this show and you were not into AI and you haven't touched lately what's new, check it out, because everybody is changing. Everybody is rapidly chasing, and it can do so much more than it used to be able to do. And it's really impressive, and I want to touch it. That's the big thing.
And the fourth one is the learning episode. Before this robots one, you mentioned that is going out this Friday. Yeah. The learning one also goes deep, right?
Yeah. So Yorick has learned that he can do things. So he goes and launches a show all by himself. He makes a clone of me. He starts doing things that are pretty unethical. And we did this episode because we wanted to find a way to talk about the fear of being replaced, right? So it's a real fear, right? And it, not only is it a real fear, it's been pushing towards us about being replaced, and how should we feel about that, right? And it's not just developers, right? It's people, it's writers or musicians, or things are coming, and so we talk about the ethics of that. And I got a chance to sit down with Amanda Askell from Anthropic. She works on Claude's voice. It was an incredible interview. If you're going to skip to that interview on that, it is so good. And I'm sure you get this all the time. You're talking to people, and you're like, man, I'm so glad that somebody's thinking about that. She's thinking about the fact of you can't just have an opinion as that, because Claude's the biggest influence there is. These chat things, you need to think about the fact that you could really influence somebody, and they're going to trust you, and you have to be careful and say, I don't know, or say, well, maybe that's not quite exactly, people are always looking for she uses an example of I was in a fight with somebody, and I brought my point to it. I wanted it to support me, but I was like, actually, have you thought about this? And the fact that it did that, she's like, I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud that it did that. And she also does these tips of education, she says bringing fun education, right? So she says that she asks, this is really cool, and I encourage everybody to try this actually. Ask it to tell you a parable about something that you don't know yet, right? So I'm trying to learn about nuclear fusion. Can you tell me that in parable form? And it will do it, right? Because it can take the things and then at the end, I want you to nail the salient points. And she says that she does this once a week, and she works, I mean, it's her job. So she plays in this space a little bit more than we probably would, which I'm a little jealous of. And she says that she's learned stuff, and she can be at parties, and they're like, how do you know about that? And she's like, well, I had a parable about this. We'll stick in your brain, right? Because
that's true.
That's how we work, right? We work through story. And I think that great tricks, check that interview out on that one. It's one of my faves of the whole series, actually. If anybody else is watching this, there are no favorites.
I love favorite sons. How many episodes we will have in total?
When I asked that again, I think we jumped.
Oh, how many episodes?
There are six. There are 6 episodes, and hopefully a season 2. And I would love to know what you'd like to see in season 2, everybody, if you could let us know that. And yeah, so the last one is on smell. So smell the future. And we have some Cloudflare guests on there. We have a Sunil Pai, of course. Obviously, if you're smelling the future, you definitely are smelling some Sunil. And Michelle Zatlin also makes an appearance on the show. And we talk about what she sees as the future of how this stuff's all going, and talk to some science fiction writers, which I think, they're the reasons some of this stuff even exists, right? The science fiction people were like we talked about already. We said Star Trek. It's like Star Trek. It literally is, and like we made that happen because like we dream and then we go chase those dreams. And so we talk about that on the show about like how this is even happening. How is this even possible? And so we get to talk through the future, about what people see for the future. So
you already spoke about the Claude interview and some things that you didn't know that people were thinking, and makes perfect sense. But was there like a surprise from all of the recordings, all of the interviews that you did regarding AI, something that really stayed with you specifically?
So one of the things I think that, I am making content, right? And so it can make content, right? And so we had Nick from HeyGen come. While we were interviewing him, I was sitting there with the crew, but this is a highly produced show. So there's a crew and there's like all sorts of stuff. And we're filming him and he's telling me how I can make this avatar that makes me not need to have this team around me. And so it's interesting, right? It's like this really like, well, how does the point that he made to me, which it's in the show and I recommend you watch it. It's in the learning episode as well. Or maybe it's in the learning episode. It's in the learning episode. Or I can't remember actually now. I think it's in the learning episode.
It's a mix between.
Yeah, it's learning who I am, right? So Yorick ethically goes and creates an avatar of me, and we bring Nick on to do that. He says, to answer my question about like, well, I have this crew sitting here. What would you say to them? What do you tell them about? He's like, well, let's do this, Craig. Do you speak German? No, I don't speak German. He's like, well, you can. Your avatar speaks German, right? He's like, do you want to reach a German audience? I'm like, yeah, I would love to reach a German audience. And he's like, well, guess what? You can. Would you hire this crew to reach that German audience? I'm like, well, I don't know if it would work. But now, if it does, I have the ability to do this. So it helps me scale this content in a way. And Thor from 11 Labs is very similar. Like it helps scale that content. And actually, the first episodes, João, I'd love to actually hear, because you speak Portuguese, yeah?
I do, yeah.
So the first episode's dubbed in Portuguese now. So if you go to the first episode of AI Avenue, you can pull the dubs, and they did this professional dub for us. It's my voice. It's cloned. It's got the jokes that I'm making, right? Because the show's pretty funny. And it also I have it in German and in Hindi and Portuguese. And it's incredible. Like I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I've heard a dub before. But this is like better than any dub I've ever heard. It's really, we are at a time where it's like that, like, again, back to the point of AI's for everybody. Right? Like if we can go and we can reach and we can inspire you to build, because now literally everybody can build. That's the other thing, right? Like
True.
If you touch this, you're going to have an idea, and I want to see what that idea is. That's the idea of the show.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. You said many interesting points, but fun. And even recently, for example, 11 Labs, they got really popular last year when podcast creators like Lex Friedman were doing like interviews in another language with someone speaking another language, and it worked. One was speaking one language, the other was speaking the other language, and it worked. Even recently, we saw the AirPods working in different languages. Really amazing to see at play. There's even the Sora 2 element. Mr. Beast, I think last week, was actually thinking, the main creator on YouTube was actually thinking, hey, maybe I'm replaced. But Sam Altman actually said something really interesting there is, I don't think humans will be replaced in things that we want to see other humans do. Music, things like that. We want to see like a concert of a symphony that is played by humans, not necessarily robots. Robots will be amazing for other things, but there are things that we want to see humans do, right?
Yeah. I think that we're in a really interesting time, and I do a couple talks about this, like the roadshow version of this, like the AI Avenue on Ice, if you will, where we talk about pride is really weird with AI, right? Like, so Sunil and I do a show on Cloudflare TV called Dry Run, and I am not good at coloring. Like, I can't make something pretty. Like, that's just not my thing. But what I can do is I can describe what I think is cool. And so I've made some thumbnails that I love making these thumbnails. I've never been able to do that before, and I'm proud of it. But should I be? Because like I didn't make that, but I did make it. It was in my brain. Like
Exactly. It was your idea, your taste.
It's this really weird thing, and I there's reasons why we don't feel proud of it, because it's like, hey, did I just steal somebody's work? Not really. Nobody really did that. Is that the style? So this is really strange thing where it's like, it's this problem of like, can I be proud about this? And I've been calling it the AI identity crisis. Just to do the dad joke there. But like, it's about a half hour worth of content where you can actually just like literally talk about it. And I think people just need to share more that they're using AI, because I think a lot of people are using AI, but they're not talking about using AI. So it's like it's really important the more, because it helps other people. It helps other people realize that like, I could do that too. And I think that whenever we've seen that throughout history, whenever we see like builders unlock and be able to build more, it's a good thing. It's good for humanity.
It's really easy to use AI, especially this type of AI like LLMs, but it's quite interesting to see. It's like you have a team now to do what you need to do. Sometimes in most of the situations, those are your ideas, your tastes, what you want to share with the world, but you have like a team, in this case an AI, helping you in small things. You're responsible, because if something goes wrong, you cannot say, hey, that was the AI, it wasn't me, right? Because again, ultimately it will be you. That will be something I think people will need to learn. You'll be responsible to what you put outside. If it was AI, it was AI, but you need to supervise and see, does this make sense? So it's an interesting place to be right now.
Yep. And I hope the message of the show rings loud, where it's like, you can do stuff that you can't do. And that's really strange. That is a very strange time, that now I can do stuff that I couldn't do before. There's something there for you. There's something in this generative AI wave that you've been blocked on that now you can do, whether that's writing or voice or images or or seeing. If there's tons of use cases that are right there right now for you. And now you can literally build an application should you want to. The amount of times, Joe, I'm sure you get this too, you're in tech and you're like, I have this idea for an app, I'd like you to build it. You're like, oh, well, I don't have a couple months back in the day, but now it's like, let me sit you down in front of this box that says, what would you like to build? And you press build, and it does. That's a different world, and we're here. And I'm so happy that we get to support it. I'm so happy to see those ideas out there that have been locked in people's brains for so long. But they need to touch it to know that they can do it.
True. And different people with different backgrounds, not the engineering backgrounds, different backgrounds.
100%. Yep. We have somebody on the show that is a founder of a successful company that she vibe coded her way, where she just did it through English, and that she's now she's talking about it, and then you hear her talking, you're like, actually, you're a developer. I hear the way that you're talking, like, you're a builder. You got this. So really cool. It's really cool. I love the energy. I love, like, helping to build, right? Helping to build a better internet. That's what we're after here. And this is like, people are building on this internet. Let's help them get there. So yeah.
Quite interesting to see. Well, more things ahead there for sure. An announcement, but also hopefully a new season of AI Avenue as well. So we'll talk to you at that time when we have like a new season to show.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So good seeing you.
Thank you for doing that. Bye-bye. And that's a wrap.